Hello everyone, in this video it's going to be a little bit different. Usually I'll come on here and I'll talk about football, we have a laugh and lots of banter, but today I'm going to be talking about my addiction struggles, my time in rehab that I spent there this year, and my recovery, which I'm in right now. I've been an addict probably since I was a teenager, I think. Before school, 7:30 a.m, I would at times be drinking white wine and smoking cannabis as well. And this was before school, 7:30 a.m. in the morning. I didn't think anything of it. I was doing it with a couple of friends. And that was the start of the school day at times. And then after school, go on massive binges and carry on drinking in the parks or wherever else, or smoking more cannabis. That would just be, a school week. That would just be normal. As I got older, that kind of continued. So alcohol was always the core of my addiction. Alcohol was always the thing. And I never ever thought I'd had a problem with alcohol. I never thought that, because I always thought in my head that an alcoholic is somebody who drinks all day, every single day. Like morning, afternoon, nighttime, wake up in the middle of the night, have another drink. That's what I thought an alcoholic was. Or somebody who's on a park bench, brown bag, homeless, bottle of White Lightning or whatever else. That's what I thought an alcoholic was. I didn't think that you could get alcoholics from all walks of life. So I carried on, binge drinking. And I was only drinking like, every other week, at events or parties or whatever else like that. But it was what happened when I drunk, and when I was drinking, I couldn't stop drinking. I couldn't just have one or two or five. I had to carry on until I had blackout or until I was sick, and there was times where I was waking up the next morning and the blackouts, don't remember anything that happened. You're waking up in your own vomit. There's situations where I could have died. As a teenager as well, I heavily used cannabis, getting into drug dealers' cars and, getting as much cannabis as I can at the time, smoking loads of it all the time as well, just to get a better feeling of life. I thought that being on cannabis felt so much better than just feeling like Nathan Connor. I thought that I was such a better person if I had cannabis or alcohol inside of me. With the cannabis, I felt like, oh my God, everything's so much more funnier, everything tastes so much better. That was my mindset, and that was just the addict growing and growing and growing and taking over my mind and taking over my body as well. During my time in addiction, I did try other recreational drugs as well, but what I did get, quite addicted to at a point as well was gambling. I did have a problem with gambling at some point. It started, when I turned 18, I started going to the betting shops and putting bets on and, accumulators and stuff like that. Okay, that's cool. But then it started gradually getting worse, because addiction is a progressive disease. It might start normal, but then as you progress and progress and progress, it will get worse and worse. As soon as I discovered the apps, that's when I downloaded them and I started betting on the apps, doing accumulators and everything still, okay. But then I started doing in-play betting, and I'd spend my time 2 a.m, 3 a.m, 4 a.m. sometimes just looking for random matches, or going through Twitter and looking for these, betting tip people, or Google betting tip people, just to see what they're saying, and then putting £10 on, and then £20, then £50. And it just got to a point where I figured out, oh, this was becoming a problem now of gambling. So I had to shut myself away from gambling. I had to lock myself out of it. And my last bet was probably Euro 2020 final, England-Italy. Obviously it was in 2021. As an addict, we all of us bury our feelings and bury all of our traumas. We don't share how we really feel. We put this facade on, we put this ego in front of us and this mask on to say everything's okay. Self-pride. We're okay, everything's fine, we don't need your help, blah, 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 blah. That's what we do as addicts. And that's what I done. I buried everything deep down, even though I was going through so much trauma in my adult life. I just chose to completely ignore it and use different things to cope with it. One of those things was what I'm on right now, and that is social media. When I started social media in November 2020, it really gave me good feelings. It gave me good feelings when I was getting all the likes and I was getting, you know, all the millions of views and millions of followers and everything like that. And, you know, I lived on that. That was my thing, you know, that was my dopamine hit, you know, getting all those views and getting all the money and everything like that. But whilst I was getting all of that, you know, I was still in my binge drinking era. And then I started getting addicted to buying stuff. You know, I started getting addicted to buying materialistic items. I bought an expensive sports car. I bought, you know, all these expensive clothes, you know, Harrods and flannels and whatever else. And all of that was just a way to boost my ego and to keep burying those feelings and put Nathan Connor TV out there and bury Nathan Connor inside so nobody could actually see the vulnerable Nathan Connor. All they saw was that person. And that's exactly what the addict wanted. It wanted that person to be out there instead of the real Nathan Connor. The behaviors of me being an addict doesn't just affect me, it doesn't just affect that person, it affects the people closest to me as well. And it all got way too much. Everything just got way too much and I had no choice. I had to check myself into rehab. I hit my rock bottom. I had to check myself into rehab. 22nd of February 2024, I checked into Broadway Lodge in Weston-super-Mare for 30 days. I came out on the 21st of March 2024. Now, if you look back, you can look back on some of my videos. I still had loads of videos coming out during that period. Nearly every single day, I think I had videos coming out. That's because I had pre-filmed everything to go out before I went into rehab. I pre-filmed everything and I scheduled it to go out because my addict, I was so afraid that, oh my God, I've got to take 30 days off work. There's no way I can take 30 days off work. I have to, you know, get the videos pre-filmed and keep them out there. So nobody would have known really. Only a handful of people would have known I was going into rehab, but not many people would have actually known. Also in rehab, you're not allowed your phones. You're only allowed your phones at certain times. There's only certain times you can have your phone. And I missed so much football whilst I was in there. And that was one of my biggest fears was missing cup final. I missed the Liverpool-Chelsea cup final. I had to wait until the next day to find out the result. And all of that I was so fearful of those things because I'm just so used to it. I'm just so used to, you know, being able to have everything that I needed, everything that I wanted, you know, but you didn't have that in rehab. It strips everything off of you and you're forced to look at yourself. You're forced to bring that vulnerable side out of yourself. You're forced to reset. It's like a factory reset. They call Broadway Lodge the Miracle Mansion because it is a miracle mansion. It honestly changed my life. Those 30 days I spent in Broadway Lodge was the best 30 days of my life because I'm a completely different person from coming in to coming out, a completely different person. I'm now over 100 days clean and sober, and that is a massive thanks to rehab. I didn't know what to expect going into rehab. I really didn't, but I met people who are friends for life now. I met people from all different walks of life, and they're my people. Addiction really is cunning and baffling. It really is because, you know, I was so delusional because I never thought that I was an addict. I thought everything was okay. I've got it all together. I'm absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with me. That's the insanity of being an addict is so delusional. You know, you think everything's okay, but your world's falling apart inside of you. Since coming out of rehab, I go to AA meetings, CA meetings. I work on anything that I can do to keep my recovery going. It doesn't matter what meetings you go to or what fellowship you go to either. AA is Alcoholics Anonymous, CA is Cocaine Anonymous, but it all works on the same thing. You know, you don't even need to be addicted to a substance to go to these meetings. You just need to have a problem with addiction. Everyone around me has been so supportive as well, and I'm ever so grateful for that. Gratitude is a massive thing for me now as well. You know, I wasn't grateful for the things that really matter in life. I was grateful for the materialistic items. I was grateful for the things that, don't matter in life. Now I'm grateful for the things that really matter in life. I go to the gym regularly now, but I do have to keep an eye on that and moderate it because, again, the gym and exercise, that can become a problem for someone like me with an addict brain. That could be an obsession. And I've really put boundaries and I've put schedules in for my social media work as well. So I make sure that I'm not working too much because I have to recognize these things. If I find that I'm working way too much, then I know that there's maybe something going on. If I'm ignoring everything else and I'm just like concentrating on my work, I know that there's something happening in my life right now that I need to talk about. I need to get vulnerable about it. As I said before, I am going to go into more detail about my addiction, my recovery and everything else in future videos. But I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. I do really, really appreciate it. And I'm actually really happy to just show you Nathan Connor and see what's happening behind the camera, because social media can be such a lie sometimes. You just see, what we record, you see what I record and put out there. You don't actually see the person behind the camera, and I feel like I've shown you the person behind the camera for the first time probably in my social media career. So I'm very, very thankful and very grateful for all of your support over the last few years in my career as well. I appreciate every single one of you. And I'm just going to leave it on this point. Family and friends and the people closest to you are the most important thing in the world. That's the one thing I've learned throughout all of this process. Family, friends, and the people closest to you are the things that matter the most in the world, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. So I'm forever grateful to every single person in my circle, every single person who's been there for me through the dark times, through the good times, through whatever. I'm just forever grateful. I'm just grateful to be here today. So thank you.